right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We're excited to have you join us as we explore how to leverage digital audio and video consumption trends with an effective advertising strategy. I'm Katrina Toyer, the content specialist at Postmedia, and your host for today's session. Please feel free to use the chat to ask any questions you might have during the webinar. And on that note, we would greatly appreciate it if you could share with us what you're hoping to learn today. To kick things off, allow me to introduce Sophie Rest, the executive producer from the Postmedia Content Works team. This lovely lady will be overseeing today's chat.
Hi, everyone.
If you're not familiar with Postmedia, our wide array of 130 brands cater to Canadians from coast to coast, offering exceptional journalism, cutting-edge digital capabilities, and reaching millions of Canadians every month. Our clients benefit from our extensive expertise in digital marketing. We assist businesses of all sizes with tailor-made marketing strategies to achieve specific goals, leveraging the Postmedia network, as well as search and social, digital out of home, and more. During today's webinar, you'll learn more about how the concept of digital audio and video advertising and its advantages, current trends shaping digital audio advertising and video strategies, utilizing audience targeting capabilities, enhancing cross-channel marketing efforts, and how to integrate digital audio and video advertising into your marketing strategy. With us today are Karl and Stephanie from the Spotify team and Melissa from the Postmedia team. Karl Mukaz is serving as the Director of Sales on the emerging and scaled North American team at Spotify. With 5 years of dedicated service to the company, he has been driving sales initiatives across programmatic, direct, and ads manager channels. Karl's expertise lies in fostering growth opportunities and maximizing revenue streams with the dynamic digital media landscape. Karl is joined by Stephanie Tanz, who is a client partner also on the emerging and scaled North American team at Spotify. With focus on collaborative partnerships, she works closely with businesses of all sizes to develop tailored advertising strategies rooted in data-driven insights and compelling storytelling. Stephanie consistently drives growth for her clients and enhances brand visibility in today's competitive marketplace. And finally, Melissa Fiorillo, a seasoned sales engineer at Postmedia with a proven track record in digital marketing. With over 7 years of industry experience, she has an eye for detail and a talent for crafting innovative strategies that propel businesses towards success. Melissa's expertise lies in leveraging the latest technologies and trends to deliver impactful results for her clients.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to talk all things digital audio and video advertising and how to leverage digital audio and video consumption trends with an effective advertising strategy. As more consumers tune into their favorite podcasts and music platforms, businesses have a great opportunity to engage with a highly attentive audience through audio and video. Listening to audio and watching videos allows us to connect with the stories, the emotions, and the experiences being shared, which creates a lasting, personal, and intimate impression on us as consumers. This has opened the door for digital audio and video to become a powerful medium. With the increasing use of smartphones, tablets, and other digital devices, we have easy access to a wide range of audio and video content anytime, anywhere at our fingertips. Whether you're on the road, you're working out, or just relaxing at home, you can easily enjoy your favorite podcasts, music, and video streaming services and radio stations. Research has shown us that by 2025, 67% of the Canadian population will be consuming digital audio. That's about 26.8 million Canadians, which is up from 2022 research highlighting about 25.3 million Canadians consuming digital audio content. So given the growing popularity of audio and video trends, incorporating digital audio and video advertising into your marketing strategy can be a valuable approach to achieving your marketing goals. So while we've just talked about how digital audio and video has revolutionized the way we consume and engage with digital books, songs, and podcasts, we can now recognize the power of this change that extends beyond just content and into advertising opportunities. With the emergence of smartphones, smart speakers, wireless headphones, audiences can now immerse themselves in their favorite audio and video experiences anytime and anywhere. And one of the greatest advantages digital audio and video offers is the level of personalization. So unlike traditional radio, listeners have the power to make their own playlists, they can share their favorite videos and songs with friends and family, and they can tailor their listening experiences to suit whatever mood they're in. So that leads us to ask, what is digital audio and video advertising exactly? They're both innovative solutions that are going to be incorporated into your marketing strategy that utilize strategic placement of promotional messages through online platforms like streaming services, podcasts, and online radio. This form of advertising utilizes audio and visual elements to engage your target audiences and drive brand awareness. Through the use of storytelling and captivating visuals, digital audio and video advertising allows businesses to connect with consumers in a more interactive and immersive way, ultimately leading to increased engagement and conversion rates. According to research, the digital audio advertising market is increasing by over 6% annually and has a projected market value of over $12 billion by 2027, making this a lucrative opportunity and shows immense potential in this digital age. Utilizing digital audio and video advertising presents your business with many advantages that are focused on engaging with your target audiences more effectively. With only one audio ad and/or video ad playing at a time, your brand's message receives undivided attention, which boosts engagement and share of voice. The beauty of audio and video lies in its ability to resonate with audiences across various genres and interests, creating a personalized and intimate connection with your listeners. So transitioning from a traditional radio advertising to digital audio and video is a seamless and strategic move that enables you to repurpose your existing creatives and appeal to a new target audience and broaden your digital presence. Digital audio and video have many benefits, including an escape from non-skippable ads and, of course, undivided attention from listeners. Its affordability and seamless integration with traditional radio budgets make it an enticing addition to your marketing strategy that will leave a lasting impression in the digital world. Our respected guests from Spotify are here to talk more about the innovative features of Spotify's platform, the limitless possibilities and strategies for maximizing your brand's reach, and share valuable insights on the latest trends in the digital audio and video advertising space. So without further ado, I will hand over the virtual stage to your Spotify experts.
Thank you, Melissa. First to start, I'd like to say thank you for allowing us at this platform. Thank you to our friends at Postmedia and all the guests joining this call today. So as we speak about audio, the audio landscape, and better focus into Spotify specifically, we have to understand exactly what Spotify is. I'll take a bold guess and say that a huge amount of users on Spotify within Canada, or even people on this specific call, are Spotify users. So we're not here to convince, sell you the platform. You guys are maybe ambassadors. It's also understanding who is Spotify. You would think of Spotify as an audio first platform, but Spotify is full-fledged, in all specific scale, a multi-format platform all the way from audio to video, podcast, display. And our goal here is to showcase exactly how our partnership with Postmedia can allow you as brands and as partners to basically reach your audiences at mass scale in an addressable fashion within Spotify. So if you think about Spotify, as we conclude this call, one thing to consider and to remember will be culture. Spotify pretty much drives culture, and pretty much, as we always say, culture happens on Spotify. And the goal of this specific call is to understand exactly how you guys can unlock that by tapping into Spotify through the platform. So as we dig deeper into culture, so I'll give an example. If you think about Saltburn, I'm pretty sure everyone, a majority of users here have seen Saltburn. So think of Murder on the Dance Floor, for instance, right? Obviously outlining entertainment and exactly how that impacts users, listeners, partners, brands directly into platform. As we can see here, growth and adoption and listenership grew 1.5 million listens the next day, right? And that encompasses a bunch of stuff, right? Think of like Beyonce, think about the cultural phenomenon. We were having this conversation earlier with the team. Think of Taylor Swift. Everyone just stayed on and listened to Taylor Swift till 3 a.m. about 2 weeks ago, right? We can basically like see that data and make that data available and addressable to you as brand, as partners, and as users, right? So think of Spotify and think of that impact on Spotify as reflected instantly post listen or post specific releases on an entertainment side. We'll dig deeper into culture, right? Again, outlining exactly how entertainment, listens, and all the specific elements outside of platform impact your listenership on platform. Another example here will be Ariana Grande. Think about Yes and. This specific title, obviously, like leverage within platform, has increased user-generated playlists by 2,000%. Just think of that, right? So again, you'll hear us a lot speak about exactly how to leverage our data, right, onto any specific partnerships or brand activations that you have through our partnership with Postmedia. And one thing to consider here, Spotify is an audio-first platform, but most importantly, getting away from formats, video, audio, display, and podcasts, but focusing more on the audience aspect, right? We'll dig more into our reach, exactly, globally or specific to your specific regions. But think of Spotify first as far as a data platform and allowing you as a user and as a brand to tap into that in a very, very specific way, right? So as we typically say, anyone within the Spotify platform, we know exactly who you are, how you stream, when you stream. And our goal is to obviously make that available to you to make sure that you're able to reach users on the right device in the right moment. And most importantly, that user allow you to reach them at the right time. So we'll dig more into, tentpoles and holidays and specific moments throughout the calendar year, right? If you think about Spotify and if you think about audio, as was called out earlier, or video in general, Spotify is a companion. You don't really, use Spotify one day and not the next, right? Typically Spotify, Christmas time, everyone's listening to Christmas music or specific tentpole, maybe Memorial Day or Valentine's Day. You're commuting to work, you're in the shower in the morning, listening to a podcast. So Spotify is a companion throughout the entire day, and that's reflected throughout the entire calendar year, right? So specific tentpole moments. We know exactly, again, who's streaming, how they stream, when they stream, and that specific data is what we're able to make available to you as partners, right? So think of, for instance, we're seeing Mariah Carey, for instance, within the Christmas time, just listenership just peak. Obviously, we've seen that within the Super Bowl with Usher, for instance, or right now with Taylor Swift. So something that we like to say is, take hold of Spotify's data and our opportunities within activations. Get in front of culture versus half the time, being behind it, right? So we're able to offer you as partners through our partnership with Postmedia that data, saying, hey, we have a specific campaign with activation running in 6 months from now, or maybe in Christmas. What kind of listening trends do you have to make available to us to connect our brands with your fans or our brand with your users to make that pretty much seamless and obviously have the right message outlined within the right user, right? So again, keyword here will be tentpole moments, and obviously we're able to offer that to you guys at massive scale. So let's dig deeper into Spotify by the numbers, right? So there's one thing to call out. The Spotify framework, you've probably seen recently our 2024 Q1 releases, right? Spotify today is the #1 streaming platform globally. We'll dig more into the numbers, but one thing to consider here is, right, you may say, well, you're the #1 streaming platform, but how exactly is that impacting us, right? So we'll dive deeper into Spotify by the numbers, and let's look exactly how that's being impacted at a global scale. So highlight from our Q1 earnings, amazing, growth as we're seeing here year over year. Spotify currently has about 615 plus million active users, which is about 19-20% growth year over year. And that, as you think about subscribers, right, or growth to 14% year over year to about 239 million users, right? So what does that exactly mean, right? For you as a partner and as a user, right? That means you have a lot more users, ears, eyes to connect your brands to. So as we dig more into, right, the correlation between Spotify, where we're going, what we're trying to achieve across audio, display, and video, we're pretty much building, right, the #1 the number one network globally, right? So exactly what does that mean as it relates to formats as far as innovation? One thing personally for me is, not entirely sure if users here are familiar with the Spotify DJ, that's my number one tool today, right? We have a bunch that we release, as you guys may be aware, every quarter, every day. I can't even keep up with all the new releases that we have, but let's outline exactly a couple of new releases that have been super effective this year. Obviously, the first one may come to mind here is the daylist, right? So daylist going viral. So if you don't know what the daylist is, so basically the daylist is a specific tool that allows you within the entire day, from morning to midday to afternoon and night, to recommend leveraging AI and machine learning exactly right what songs and give you guys more discovery. In some sense, having a specific companion in your pocket and a specific DJ allowing you to discover more and new viral elements to allow you to guide you throughout your entire day and your listenership. So daylist today is certainly the most leveraged tool within Spotify. And if you have not tapped into daylist, I would highly recommend making daylist your daily companion. So let's dig a little deeper into what does that mean? Because we can go on and on as far as we have all these new formats and how great we are, how big we are, but exactly how does that correlate to you as a partner and as a brand, right? So one thing we like to discuss and talk about is we go deeper than just formats, right? So Spotify, we like to look at sonic science, exactly how does your campaigns or your ad impact the user within that specific decision journey, right? So throughout the fact that they'll be exposed to Spotify as a user or as a brand, and exactly how does that aid throughout the consumer path purchase, right? So 7 in 10 users or respondents typically say that Spotify is an effective partner. They trust the brand, right? Obviously, like that guides them into making a specific decision. 66% of Spotify listeners remain open to obviously like other brands until that specific moment, right? So that's another way of saying it's not a one-off. It's not a campaign. You don't launch a campaign with Spotify and say, hey, this is a one-off campaign. We'll advertise for a month. The most effective campaigns and partners are typically throughout a specific length of time, right? An always-on campaign, because that will be at the key moment. Awareness, Spotify is huge in regards to awareness, making sure that at that specific moment, they remember and have that recall to tap into what they've heard or what they've seen within the Spotify platform, right? And Spotify outperforms, right, most partners out there by 1.5 to 2% in regards to ad recall and making that decision journey a little more effective because they trust the brand. Spotify is a companion. Like I said earlier, when you wake up in the morning, when you commute to work, when you're at work, when you're traveling, when you're shopping, when you're a specific store or coffee shop, music is around you. And most oftentimes, music being consumed or podcasts or video is within the Spotify platform, right? Globally or locally within Canada, the US, wherever you are, Spotify is the number one companion. Now, I'll pass it over to Stephanie from Toronto to discuss more specific elements to Canada.
Awesome. Thanks, Karl. Let's dive a little deeper into Spotify Canada and what that audience looks like and how we've really grown here. So who is streaming in Canada? These are some stats that make up our ad-supported tier. We really do reach a large demographic, reaching millions of Canadians daily. The top stats there are pulled from our first-party data, device, age, gender. This is all captured in the app when you sign up for Spotify, and these are also ways you can target and reach your audience, which we'll get into shortly. And then the last 2 points at the bottom here, this is really to highlight the education and income of our ad-supported tier. Sometimes we get questions about, the type of person on the ad-supported tier, and they're educated. 55% have a university degree or higher, and 44% have a household income of over $70,000. And now, before diving into advertising solutions and going through formats and ways to reach your audiences, I want to talk about one of the biggest changes in Spotify Canada history. It's something we know users and listeners want, and something that is resulting in an even more engaging experience with the platform that your brand can definitely tap into. And more specifically, this is for the free tier. So before we dive into the latest and greatest, I just want to ground the discussion in what the free experience looked like pre-November 1st for a listener, and then how we have reimagined it to give listeners in Canada more freedom to play, to discover, and to share the music that they love most. So here's what users experience. I'm sure some of you are included in this, and this also represents a major evolution from our mobile free experience. So on the ad-supported tier, you can now pick and play any song. Before, there was limited control, and you would only choose a song and it would shuffle for you. We have skip and play. You can choose any song you want to listen and skip the ones that you don't, making it even easier to find the perfect music to match any sort of moment or mood. And before, there were cap skips. And then share and play. Whether an artist shares a new album on their socials or a friend shares Tortured Poets Department. Yes, there will be Taylor Swift examples used during this presentation. Free users will now be able to tap the song, play along, and this sharing functionality was a little limited before. So a lot of exciting updates from a listener perspective, but let's talk about what this means for you. Our listeners have long since asked for more flexibility, more control, and early tests indicate that giving them this level of customization, giving them this newer experience makes a big impact. And so we've seen an average increase in consumption of 25%. And naturally, that lift in time spent equates to more time spent with ads. So what's good for our listeners is good for our advertisers. And so this increase in time spent translates to a 44% average increase of time spent in view versus background listening, which is driving a 40% increase in video ad opportunities. And so we anticipate a daily and monthly active usage lift as a result of this change, which obviously will translate to a stronger reach for your brand across Spotify. Which is a great transition for advertising on Spotify and how Spotify can help grow your brand and really speak to your target audience.
Hi, Stephanie. We have a question for you. Can we also reach premium or paying users?
Great question. Yes. I'm going to go through this in a couple slides, but basically you can reach them through podcasts. You have the opportunity to advertise in both music and podcasts, so you're reaching both that free and that premium listener. And really, you speak to the most relevant listener across the Spotify inventory. And just to level set, I'm sure everyone on the line knows Spotify and is listening like crazy, but just to level set, we do have two tiers. That ad-supported free tier and the premium tier. For the free tier, it is ad-supported where your ads play in between songs, in between podcasts. So you'll never hear more than 2 ads per pod. So it's not this overwhelming service. And then, like I said, you can reach both that free ad-supported tier and that premium tier via podcasts.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thanks. And so our audience tells us that Spotify matters to them. 63% say Spotify is important in their daily lives, and they are happier in a mood-boosted state after a Spotify session. And yes, I am a lot happier with this new Taylor Swift album. And time spent on Spotify is at an all-time high of around 2.5 hours a day. This is versus other social platforms, which time spent is much less than this. Listeners, and myself included, and I'm sure a lot of you on the line as well, use Spotify throughout the day to be entertained, to get informed, and like Karl went through, to join that cultural conversation. And it is this personalized environment that enables more engagement and more retention. And people believe Spotify to be more engaging and immersive than social media by 27%, then TV, and then radio. And something that I really, really, really want to highlight here, so if you're multitasking, put me on the main screen for this. 93% of this engagement translates directly to ad engagement. And so what does this mean for you? Better results for your advertising. And now before, Spotify was looked at as a heavy audio platform, but it has really transformed into a very active visual environment. People take tons of actions on Spotify when the app is in focus, when they're actually looking at the app. They're doing things like they're changing the songs, they're discovering new music, checking what songs are up next, curating a playlist, looking at their day list, like Karl mentioned, reading lyrics, watching video podcasts, or just browsing. And to complement that behavior, we have designed ad experiences that weave ads seamlessly into our listeners' experience. And we continue to explore new ad formats to reach these users across both the screenless moments via audio and then engaged moments when the app is in view via video ads. And Spotify is building more and more ad formats that seamlessly integrate into this content, allowing you to reach an engaged audience across both audio and video ads. And I'll explain what these formats are in a little bit. What we really want to emphasize is that Spotify drives results. Spotify drives results across the customer journey as it's a natural environment for your brand to tell its story to an engaged audience of fans where you're not fighting for attention. Spotify really drives your business forward across the funnel by having an increase in message association compared to other digital platforms, 34% higher conversion rate than audio benchmarks, and then 66% more incremental sales when combining audio and video together in a campaign versus just audio alone. So all these data points are great, but let's discuss how you can reach your audience. And this is through Postmedia, our awesome partners. You can book Spotify ads. You can customize your goals, which I'll get into in a little bit. You can get audio ads created. So if you're thinking about running an ad, but don't have production or you don't want to write a script, do not worry. We have the support, we have the resources to do this for you and to help you. We never want you to be in a position where you want to run an ad, but you can't or you feel stuck. So definitely make sure to reach out to your Postmedia rep to get things started. And then the last point on here, regular performance analysis. With your rep, you'll dive deeper into great results and how to continually level up and optimize our inventory. And so for video ads, you can start by repurposing existing video assets. So if you do have video from advertising on other social platforms, we highly recommend maximizing your time and your resources and easily repurpose them to advertise here on Spotify. And then Postmedia will help you every step of the way when it comes to audio ads. Using our great tools, you'll be able to get an audio ad up and running very quickly. Whether this is your first foray into audio advertising or you're an audio advertising expert, you can choose from a library of background tracks, work with voice actors, voiceovers, review your ad, make changes or revisions as you need, and then you're set. You're set to speak to your audience.
Stephanie, we have a question about this. How long should the creatives be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. You have up to 30 seconds to speak to a listener, and that's for both audio and video. You can obviously do less than that. I usually recommend taking advantage of most of that 30 seconds if it makes sense for your message, of course. But this is actually something that Karl will be going through at the end of the presentation, giving some creative best practices. So stay tuned for that.
Great, thank you.
No problem. Okay, so let's get into building a campaign. So the first thing is the objective. You are in complete control of launching a campaign that is customized to your business goal. When setting up a campaign, it's very important to choose the delivery objective that best meets your business and advertising needs, whether that's reach and impressions, more awareness goals, or clicks and video views, more engagement. And we actually just launched the 5th objective here the other week. That's podcast streams, which helps podcast listenership grow. So if your brand has a podcast or an episode that you want to amplify, use that. But once you select your objective, your campaign will leverage machine learning to guide your ads towards music and podcast listeners who are most likely to take an action that aligns to your business objective. And the second part is targeting. So our powerful targeting options puts the power in your hands to reach your brand's target audience, millions of engaged listeners, so you can deliver the message that is most relevant to them in the most relevant moments. And so you can target based on who they are, age, location, language, what they're listening to. So for example, genres. This allows you to deliver your message immediately after a user has listened to a specific genre. Contextual playlists, that allows you to reach people who are listening to music in a certain moment, think like workout or cooking or studying, and even their interests. On to our ad formats. So a lot of you know Spotify. Audio is our superpower. So for the first example here, there is the plain and simple audio ad, which we know and love. We do have both audio and video ad formats. And I want to emphasize, highlight, scream from the rooftops that we only serve video ads when the Spotify app is in view. So your impressions are never wasted. So if I'm listening to, I'll choose another album, not the Beyonce, or not the Taylor Swift, I'll choose the Beyonce one. If to Beyonce's new album and my phone is locked and tucked away in my back pocket, a video ad will never play. Video ads will play when a user is engaging in the app, when the app is in the forefront of the screen. So a couple slides ago, when we went through the actions that people are taking on Spotify, changing songs, discovering new music, watching video podcasts, the app is in view. And actually, video consumption on the platform is growing, and it's growing fast. We saw a 48% year-over-year increase of video consumption. So with that being said, there are great video ad options. So we have the standard video ad. It's not on the screen there for the example, but it's a standard video up to 30 seconds to speak to a listener. The middle one here specifically, so opt-in video ad. This is a really unique way to reach listeners. This is actually reaching a listener during a listening session. So what will happen is during a listening session, a video will replace the album art and the listener will choose to opt in, meaning the video will expand to full screen and play in full with sound on. And what's great about this and why I think it should always be used is it's not during your typical ad break. It's having a user opt in, lean in, and engage with your ad. And then the last one here, Canvas. This really drives engagement. And what it is a looping video while your audio ad is playing. So instead of image, there's this 3 to 8 second video that is an immersive vertical companion experience to your audio ad to drive that engagement. And this too, only played when a listener is engaging with the screen, so your impressions are never wasted. And then Spotify helps you drive performance through formats, placements, and insights. And so let's talk about automatic placements. You can leverage automatic placement to prioritize getting more listeners to hear and see your ads across music and podcasts on Spotify. Our focus is really on getting your message heard by the most relevant audience based on the delivery goal, regardless of what they're listening to. But as I mentioned earlier, yes, you're going to be reaching both that ad-supported tier and that premium tier via podcasts. Also, something that I want to highlight here is that if you are running video ads as part of your ad set and the ad placement ends up in podcasts, you'll be running a video ad in a podcast, which is awesome. And then lastly, there's real-time reporting throughout the campaign. So you will be able to track your goals with your Postmedia rep by having those regular performance analysis. You can also A/B test, adjust your strategy to optimize your campaign performance. There's also a multitude of reporting metrics, such as impressions, reach, frequency, clicks, click-through rate, and you're actually able to see how your ads have been served to these different categories like age, gender, genre, platform, and then the Spotify Pixel. So the Spotify Pixel is available and actually recommended across your campaigns. For brands that are looking to take a bit of a deeper dive into those mid to lower funnel metrics, this is a great solution. You'll be able to track a number of events from clicks to purchases and so much more. So now I will pass it back to Karl to take you all through some creative best practices.
Awesome. Thank you, Steph. All right, let's speak more about creatives. What do we know about audio ads in general? To be frank with you, I know a lot more than I'd like, right? Obviously, that's our bread and butter, so we do every day. But one thing that Steph mentioned earlier, we're pretty much a full stack platform, right? I want you to all think about Spotify outside of just audio. Spotify is an audience first platform, a data first platform, and a full stack platform. Think about audio, display, video, podcast ads, experiential, and the whole nine, right? But let's dig deeper into what we know here. So into audio ads and our creative best practices. So let's dig first into content, right? What gets said, right? What makes the most sense when you're running an ad with Spotify? Another thing I'd like to focus on and bring back is our amazing partnership with Postmedia. You don't have an audio asset, don't worry, they'll create it for free for you. So again, we'll dig more into exactly what makes the most sense, what are the most creative, assets, and as you've asked earlier, 15, 30s, 8, 3, what makes the most, impact on your campaigns across Spotify. So let's get more into the content. So first thing first, right, stay on message, right? A bunch of partners come to us and say, hey, I want to speak about everything, right? Obviously, I don't think that's the best approach, right? So typically our recommendation is, hey, just stay on key, obviously like outline exactly what you're looking to accomplish here, right? A very focused ad obviously yields more engaging, right? And memorability for users, right? What you're looking to drive is awareness, consideration, conversions. So the more it's concise, the better and the more effective your ads will be, right? So again, here, the things to consider here is less takeaways, which makes the most sense. So let's dig more into, right, as you run your ad and your assets, right, you want to introduce your brand right away, right? You want partners, you want listeners, you want users to remember your name. You want to remember Postmedia, McDonald's, whatever your brands that you're running, right? Because obviously mention your brand within the first 5 seconds typically drive more favorability within your message and obviously intent, right? Again, if we call out exactly what we're looking to accomplish within those, right? Higher favorability, right? Higher message association, and naturally within the intent lever. If you think about what we outlined earlier, you want to obviously like run a specific campaign with Spotify or audio in general continuously, because the more they hear it, right, the more they remember it, and the more obviously that drives to awareness, considerations. And I walked into a store a couple of weeks ago, and I remember an ad that I heard on Spotify or across GRE, and remembered, hey, I'm not going to buy this product, I'll buy this. And half the time you don't remember, right? So when you're making a decision in real time, that subconsciously you realize, hey, I listened to this ad before on a platform that I use every day. So obviously there's that, memorability right there, and that confidence and that trust to basically, buy the brand, right? So mention your brand in the first 5 seconds of your messaging. That'd be something to remember. So let's dig more into the three-part format, right? Again, as we outlined earlier, remember the 3 things: introduce your brand, define the brand, right, as much as you can. Again, don't stretch it, just define exactly what you're looking to convey and what your brand and what your messaging is, obviously. And obviously after that, have a call to action. The good thing about Spotify and our platform is we have a call to action across the board. As Stephanie mentioned earlier, across podcasts, we have CTA cards that will obviously like retarget users free of charge, post exposure for 7 days. That ad unit follows you around the Spotify platform. Naturally, that also includes audio. We have display formats, high impact formats across the board. So everything that we obviously like use, audio, video, display as, we obviously include a CTA action. So whenever you have an audio ad that you're creating, hey, add in that specific element, right? Go to www.x to purchase or buy now or learn more, right? Always remember having that to obviously like drive more engagement and making it easier for your consumer within the life cycle. So cadence, right? Obviously, like moving towards more of exactly how you should outline your ad within that cadence. So exactly how is that being said? So clearly conveying your CTA, right? Anything that's super, super short, the longer your ads are and the longer your creatives are in regards to that CTA element is hard for users to remember, right? So I like to say, just keep it very, very sweet and short, right? Like I said earlier, to learn more, click on or drive to, very, very concise, and repeat it and spell it out so users actually remember it, right? So driving aside and measure low funnel and mid funnel opportunities is what our CTA elements are able to offer. So in regards to the question that was asked earlier, if you think about length, right? A lot of times we get that specific question in regards to like, should my ad set be 3, 36, an hour, right? I think most oftentimes the idea here is keeping it very short. Spotify allows you to run, ad sets anywhere between 15 to 30s. But if you think about pharma, for instance, which there's a lot of disclaimers in the back end, we are able to stretch it out to 60. But that's a conversation we had with your Postmedia rep, and we can obviously outline that in a specific manner. But the sweet spot is 15 to 30. All right. My personal preference, if you had to ask me, I hate listening to ads that are longer than 6 to 15 seconds. But look, data is data, right? And data always says that anything typically longer than 15 seconds perform better, right? So it pretty much depends on exactly what you're looking to accomplish, right? If you're running an ad on a podcast, on audio, obviously 15 to 20 or 15 to 30 at times, obviously yields to like higher recall, awareness, right? Message association, and obviously like higher intent, right? Because the more you repeat, like we just seen, your brand and your CTA, users typically remember that. And naturally do not rush, right? You want to be able to like remember that specific ad, be very clear exactly when you're running audio so users absorb it and obviously like are able to remember it, right? So don't rush your message. Build enough time for your brand to be heard and be absorbed by your listeners. And now I'll pass it back to Steph, kind of to close it out and outline exactly what's to come next in the horizon.
Perfect. So let's look ahead and see what's coming up and see how you can take advantage of Spotify now. So reach out to your Postmedia rep to make sure that you're engaging with your target audience in May and June, but also July and for the rest of the year. They will help you come up with that strategic year-long plan and will make sure that your message is being heard by the most relevant audiences. And to close it out, in terms of next steps, I know we went through a lot of really great information, But we recommend that you take advantage of the audio production through Postmedia and get started on amplifying your campaigns and speaking to that target audience of yours. And with that, create a multi-format Spotify campaign, grab those videos from the other platforms that you're using and easily repurpose them. And then also measure those conversions with the Pixel. And of course, with these actions, you are capitalizing on digital audio and video with effective advertising strategies. So thank you, and I'll pass it back to Melissa.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. In the rapidly evolving landscape of digital audio and video advertising, it is essential for brands to not only align their marketing strategy with the right content, but also to stay ahead of the curve. With a multitude of platforms and formats available, it is crucial to place ads strategically to ensure that your message is not only heard or seen by the right audience, but that it actually resonates with them. Additionally, adhering to brand safety guidelines is really important, especially when selecting podcasts to make sure that they align with your brand values and messages to maintain a positive brand image. Something we do here at Postmedia is invest our time into developing a strategic approach for all of our clients, which involves allocating marketing budgets thoughtfully. So we often tell our clients, if you have 6 marketing dollars, you'll want to allocate 3 to awareness, 2 to consideration and engagement, and 1 to conversion to guide your customers seamlessly through the marketing funnel. To further support businesses, we provide a thorough consultation to gain insights into your overall objectives, your obstacles, and of course, your unique business dynamics. And this allows us to create customized, comprehensive, and holistic plans tailored to your specific needs and identify strategies that will actually drive tangible results for you. We have achieved remarkable success with our digital audio campaigns from numerous clients, and we're really excited to showcase the industries that have benefited from these campaigns. These examples can provide you with insights on integrating digital audio advertising into your marketing strategy and achieving your marketing objectives this year. So the first case study that we'll go over is a modern and stylish furniture company that was looking to create a comprehensive strategy to generate buzz around their new showroom and drive more foot traffic by increasing brand visibility, connecting with their target audience, and ultimately driving sales. By consistently monitoring and optimizing the campaign based on real-time data, we were able to significantly improve its effectiveness, resulting in lots of clicks and lots of impressions and successfully tracking in-store visits. In total, this campaign received over 1.1 million impressions, 800 clicks, and 63 confirmed store visits. And this client was very happy with the ability to track visits to their store and attribute it to their marketing efforts. We actually have one more success story that we want to share with you today. And this case study focuses on an education-based client and their goal of raising $500 million for their school. So we implemented a strategic mix of solutions to create awareness, educate audiences, and inspire donations over a 2-year period. This approach targeted 35+ demographic with middle to high household income. They were educated professionals, they were alumni to the school, and they had interest in education, philanthropy, and universities just in general. So the solutions that we looked at for this client were print ads in various Postmedia publications. They had 4 Spotify campaigns running throughout 2023 and 2024, custom sponsored content packages, and full page point of entry display experiences on the Postmedia network. And really the results speak for themselves, as you can see on the screen. So the first Spotify campaign had over 636,000 completed listens with a cost per listen of just 1 cent, and their companion ad generated 159 clicks. The second campaign saw over 336,000 completed listens and over 1,200 clicks on the companion ad. On top of the great Spotify campaign, there was a sponsored content campaign running over the same period, and it drove over 1,500 total page views with 1,546 unique readers spending an average of 3 minutes and 18 seconds on the article. It's very clear in this case that the content resonated with the audience, keeping them engaged until the very end. So we plan to share these case studies and a few others in our upcoming post-webinar emails. So keep an eye out if you're interested in revisiting these and diving a little bit deeper into the strategy and the results. Our objective at Postmedia is to provide solutions that help your business reach its goals. We not only have a team dedicated to launching and optimizing your digital audio and video advertising campaigns, but a team member dedicated to working with you regularly to ensure that all of your ad efforts align with your changing goals. So you really can consider Postmedia as an extension of your marketing team. Our solutions optimize ROI and enhance performance at every single stage of the customer journey by leveraging powerful data insights. With billions of data signals, we create refined audience segments to effectively target these campaigns. Subscribed clients receive timely access to personalized dashboards and reports for transparency. Digital audio and video advertising are great awareness-based solutions to add into your marketing mix to reach and connect with your target audiences in a very unique and engaging way. So you can leverage Postmedia to be your trusted partner through every single step, from the build to the execution and to the optimization. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Katrina.
Great, thank you. Thanks to Karl, Stephanie, and Melissa. That was a very informative session. And to reiterate the key takeaways from today's presentation, digital audio and video advertising on the right platform can greatly benefit in connecting with your desired audience by delivering engaging and visually appealing content that resonates with viewers, and to reach specific demographics and interests with targeted advertising, ensuring your message engages with your brand's audience, and create a lasting impression and drive meaningful connections with your audience. Sophie, do we have any further questions in the queue?
We do. I think we have time for a couple of questions. Melissa, we'll start with a question for you. Can Postmedia help create the audio ad?
That is a great question. We can absolutely help with that, and not only help with the audio portion of the ad, but we can help with the companion ad as well that goes along with the audio. You get to work with your dedicated rep and our creative teams to create those.
Perfect. And can we target specific podcasts or artists that our audiences like to listen to?
Another great question. So thank you so much for asking that. Spotify as a platform does allow the option to target fan bases of specific artists and podcasters. However, there are some other digital audio platforms that only give us the ability to target based on interests.
Perfect. Okay. And Karl, we have a few questions for you. Firstly, are we able to target playlists on Spotify?
Yes, 100%. So within Spotify, you're able to target, playlists, and the value of it is all in real time. So for instance, cooking and working out or chill music, that will be as the listeners are actually listening in real time, your ads will appear there, and that's not historical data. Yep.
And another question, do you have updated Canadian metrics? This is the first question whenever we pitch to a client that advertises on Canadian radio.
Yeah, everyone loves Canada. Like I said, I love Canada myself. So the idea here is, we have about 11 million plus users in Canada and only growing. And obviously we can refresh that data, as a follow-up to this, and, pass that data back to you guys as Postmedia to convey with your partners. So, yeah.
And the question about actually creating the ads, is there a messaging style that resonates more among listeners, whether it's emotional or including promotional offers? And is there a place where people can hear examples of effective Spotify ads?
That's a great question. So it depends, right? It depends if you're running maybe like a younger brand or exactly who you're looking to target, right? You can have something too joyful if you're running a pharma ad, right? Targeting diabetes, for instance, right? So pretty much depends on exactly what you're looking to convey. And obviously within our partnership with Postmedia, we're able to guide, partners within there, right? So you can either shoot over a script, as we mentioned earlier, you can have a creative brief, or if you're like, hey, I don't exactly know what to do, right? I have an idea, pass it to your Postmedia rep, we'll kind of create that in tandem with them and actually recommend what makes the most sense. So pretty much depends on exactly what your campaign is looking to drive and what your messaging is.
Perfect. And one final quick question for you before we wrap up. How do CTA cards work, and are they available only on streaming inventory?
That's a great question. So CTA cards, if Spotify or the audio landscape, in general, you don't typically think of podcasts. You don't typically get a clickable unit, right, that you can drive to a site. So custom to Spotify, that CTA banner will basically appear on both audio and podcasts. The value for a partner and the value for a brand, that's pretty much for free, right? So once the user is exposed to the ad, because we know the ads is fully in view, your OS system communicates with your phone, so we know Spotify is 100% in view or in the background. So when you see that specific ad across podcast or audio or your Canvas unit, that CTA card will retarget you for 7 days post-exposure, right? Reminding you to click, buy now, learn more, whatever your CTA is, and actually driving those specific metrics very, very up to the high engagement.
Perfect. Okay, I think that's all we have time for, so I'll pass it back to Katrina. Thank you, Karl. Thanks.
And thank you all for joining Karl, Stephanie, Melissa, Sophie, and myself today. Please do watch your inbox for a copy of today's presentation and other valuable tools to help with your marketing strategy. Postmedia is committed to our customer success with a team of subject matter experts ready to deliver tailored campaigns to elevate your profile, outsmart your competition, and generate more leads for your business. So let's get started. Connect with us at postmediasolutions.com and visit our Contact Us page to reach out to your digital marketing expert today. Thanks again for joining us.